Tonight on KGW News, state employees in Washington are faced with getting the vaccine or losing their job.
It made me angry. It was something that I didn't want to do.
And what experts predict for the months to come as COVID cases continue to fall. Plus, some Portland business owners dealing with increased crime say police are not responding fast enough.
An hour later, no one showed up.
Then later, the Blazers are back in action at the Moda Center. Your news starts now. Thank you for joining us on this Monday night. I'm Laurel Porter. And first at 11, for state employees in Washington, this was an important day. To be fully vaccinated by the October 18th deadline, today was the last day to get the shot. Catherine Cook tells us what happens next.
In Olympia Sunday, thousands of people rallied on the Capitol steps. They protested Washington's state employee vaccine mandate. Monday was the last day they could get the COVID vaccine and have it take full effect by October 18th, the deadline set for all state workers. But as the hours ticked away, hundreds of state employees had yet to prove their vaccination status. Over the weekend, many began receiving notices that without proof, you will be separated from employment effective at the end of your work shift on October 18th, 2021. Among them, troopers with Washington State Patrol.
If they stay, they will be valuable. If they leave, they will be missed.
By phone, Washington State Patrol Communications Director Chris Loftus told us employees have until 5 p.m. Tuesday to turn in their vaccination status. He said separation of employment letters would go out October 11th, and recipients' last day would be October 18th.
We're hopeful that people took advantage of this, the opportunity to get vaccinated today. We hope everybody gets vaccinated. We want to keep our people employed. We want to keep our people safe more than anything else.
In spite of opposing Washington's vaccine mandate, many state employees rolled up their sleeves last minute. On Monday, a line formed outside the Capitol Mall's vaccine clinic.
I did look for other employment.
Julie Beavers works for the Department of Licensing. She admits she's only getting the vaccine to keep her job.
It made me angry. It was something that I didn't want to do. I wish there would have been more research done on it and everything before they started making everybody do it.
Many state agencies are working on contingency plans, including the Washington State Department of Transportation. A washed-out spokesperson tells us it's simply too soon to say how many employees they may lose. She notes as of Monday morning, 88% of their employees had verified their vaccination. A spokesperson with Washington's Department of Labor and Industry tells us they've sent out about 140 separation letters and are also waiting for updates in the coming days. Catherine Cook, KGW News.
This comes as Washington's daily COVID deaths are finally starting to decline. Hospitalizations statewide dropped about 12% in the last week. But hospitals are still extremely busy, with staff facing burnout as they treat a wave of unvaccinated patients.
When they insist that they don't have COVID, when they insist on treatments that are not backed by medical science, even in at least one case that I'm familiar with in our state, having attorneys threaten doctors who don't prescribe certain treatments. This is exhausting and disheartening for our staff.
Only about 10% of hospital beds in the state are available, and hospitals that are trying to discharge more patients to long-term care facilities are having trouble finding space. The number of people needing to be hospitalized with COVID in Oregon is expected to slowly decline over the next 2 to 3 months. The number has already dropped quite a bit. But as Pat Doris explains, researchers also found some pandemic fatigue could slow that drop.
This chart showing hospitalizations for COVID patients in Oregon seemed to grow forever in August, but is now finally on the way back down. For perspective, the surge last November hit a high of 584 patients, and September of this year climbed to a record high of 1,178, and by October 1st, it's back down to 792.
The fall's been pretty quick. It's been in line with forecast, but it's been coming down quite nicely.
Peter Graven is the lead researcher at Oregon Health and Sciences University that compiles the weekly COVID forecast. He also found that things are improving significantly in southwest Oregon, places like Medford, Grants Pass, Roseburg. They are represented by that top line, which is finally down near the other regions of the state. Lauren Van Sickle with Asante Hospitals, which covers Medford, Grants Pass, and Ashland, told me that things are getting better.
Early July was when we had the least amount of patients, and that was around 8 to 10 on any given day. And so we're still way up there with, 65 today, but it's still a far cry from where we were just a few weeks ago at 181.
While there is good news in the pages of the charts and graphs, there are warnings as well. Graven, the researcher, found people are getting tired of taking COVID precautions. More of us are comfortable gathering inside at big events.
The big movement that I'm seeing is actually indoor activities. And so that is restaurants indoors, time with other indoors, large event indoors.
Still, he believes those activities at worst will slow the recovery, not stop it. Over the next couple of months, he expects fewer and fewer people statewide will become infected with the Delta variant of the coronavirus.
That was Pat Doris reporting. And just in tonight, we learned the name of the man accused of shooting at police and civilians in Molalla this morning. He's 48-year-old Brian Mills. This started about 11 this morning near Leroy Avenue and Main Street. Police were called out for a medical call, but once they got there, the suspect started shooting and officers returned fire. None of the officers was hurt, but they did find a civilian injured. The suspect eventually came out and was arrested. We don't know his name yet. We do know the name of the suspect, but not the civilian that was hurt. Now let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. We know the name of the man shot and killed Friday near Southeast Stark and 128th Avenue in Portland. He was 41-year-old Joshua Newell. He was found shot at a home in the Mill Park neighborhood. Police have not arrested anyone yet in that case. And Crime Stoppers is offering a cash reward for anyone who has information on a deadly 2015 shooting. On October 3rd, 6 years ago, Maurice Gatson was shot and killed outside the Palace Club off Southeast Powell. Police released this surveillance video of the shooting, hoping someone recognizes the suspect. You can remain anonymous when submitting information to Crime Stoppers. 2 bodies were found after a sailboat capsized and washed up near Rockaway Beach off the Oregon coast. Officials say the boat was called Bagheera and was headed to California. The victims were husband and wife, and they were believed to be the only 2 people on board. No word yet on what caused the sailboat to capsize. New at 11, the Kenton community is calling for change after a spate of crime in the neighborhood. We first told you about what they've been experiencing last week. And tonight, business owners and neighbors got together to write letters to city leaders, hoping to get their attention. Mike Benner's following these new developments.
Salvage Works has been a part of the Kenton neighborhood for more than a decade. General Manager Rachel Browning says the area has changed a lot.
Our female staff were threatened by men with weapons 3 Saturdays in a row.
And by no means are those isolated incidents. In the last month or so, bartenders at the Kenton Club were robbed at gunpoint twice, and somebody was shot and killed at Kenton Park, not far from Parkside Restaurant and Bar.
It's just all very shocking and a little traumatizing for sure.
Parkside owner Angela Connell opened her doors Monday night to give the community space to write letters to city leaders. They're asking for a citywide expansion of Portland's street response, not to mention funding for new lighting and cameras, among other things.
We've just been trying to figure out how we can, as a community, come together and take action and be here to support one another.
So we are asking the city to give us emergency funds.
The 3-hour event was well attended by business owners and neighbors alike.
I am here to represent my community and try to get some changes made here.
So too is Rachel Browning of Salvage Works. She says she's never felt as unsafe in Kenton as she does now, and that needs to change.
Small businesses are suffering already from the pandemic, including our business, including bars and coffee shops and restaurants, and this doesn't help.
In addition to that letter writing at the Parkside Restaurant and Bar, some of the proceeds from the sale of food and drinks will be going to Neighbors Helping Neighbors, an organization that works with the houseless community. I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
As we mentioned, one of the demands the Kenton community is pushing for is an expansion of the Portland Street Response Program, which they soon might actually get. Instead of police, the program sends a crisis counselor and a paramedic to calls involving mental health and addiction. Commissioner Joanne Hardesty says she will ask the City Council to expand the program during its budget adjustment later this month. Portland Street Response launched earlier this year, but only in the Lentz neighborhood of Southeast Portland. Now Commissioner Hardesty wants the council to guarantee the funding, just over $1 million, to take the team to North Portland, the West Side, downtown, everywhere in the city in March 2022.
We are asking for a commitment because we've certainly heard it all over the city, whether it's from business owners, whether it's from houseless community members. We've heard all over the city that every community wants Portland Street Response.
Do you think this will pass?
Well, you have to ask my colleagues about that. Am I confident in the data that we will present? Absolutely.
She's talking about a council work session scheduled for 9:30 tomorrow morning. Researchers with Portland State University are set to present their findings after tracking PSR for the last few months. In the meantime, we reached out to Hardesty's colleagues. Commissioners Dan Ryan, Carmen Rubio, and Mingus Mapps all say they will vote for a citywide expansion. The mayor has said he's looking closely at Commissioner Hardesty's proposal. The Street Response Team program might have helped one Portland business owner this week after he said he waited nearly 2 hours for police to respond to his 911 call. The call was made from Sniff Dog Hotel at Northwest 18th and Raleigh. Owner Corey Murray arrived to work last week to find a disturbed man he says was physically threatening employees and customers outside. They were able to lock down inside, and Murray called 911 twice. He waited an hour and 45 minutes before an officer got there. The man who was threatening them was long gone.
This felt like a situation to you where it should have been somebody come.
Well, that's kind of what the expectation is, what I expect, as a taxpayer in the city, is that you call for an emergency, you get immediate response.
Murray says he knows police are short-staffed and he doesn't blame them, but he wants City Hall to find solutions to homelessness and crime in the area and act on them. The mayor's office tells us they are looking into Murray's case.